This was a very specific question about how can I involve my son, this was a parent who has epilepsy, with the masjid. Okay, so this question came into Muhsen. We posed the question to scholars, and a scholar of Islamic sciences have answered. We've also, in addition to the scholarly perspective, added the Muhsen perspective, which I'm going to share with you. So first, be open. There's nothing to be ashamed of knowing that someone in your family has this condition, epilepsy or any other condition. These are Allah's creations and Allah's subjects, epilepsy or no epilepsy. You should be open and don't be stigmatized within your community. This is not helping you or your loved one. This is actually standing in the way of services and supports that you can be given. So if you're not open about your condition, it's a disservice to that loved one. So be open. The second point I want to make is communicate. Communicate with those around you about what's needed. Let's be really specific. Advocate for this. In this example, at Muhsen, we can help. So if you need a community to have some key people there undergo a seizure training, what is the seizure protocol training? We have had team members that have been trained on seizure training. This is something that we can train volunteers within a community leaders who are going to be around this individual in the masjid setting. Another point to make is we want to make sure that there's a safe environment for your family member, and you know that best. What is that safe environment? Let people in the masjid spaces know what's most comfortable, what's least disruptive and triggering for this condition. You are going to be the best advocate for that family member, or the individual themselves can be empowered and speak and say, this is what I need in order to feel safe and comfortable. The scholars mentioned that if an individual has these episodes, people should be made aware how to support, tolerate, and that we as a community should acknowledge that not everyone has that awareness. It could be difficult to say this, but there could be some communities where people would say, well, that's really disruptive to the salah. That's making noise. That's not safe. And it's our job as an organization advocating for your family. It's our job as family members, as individuals who now have a platform to be able to speak out and say, actually, let me teach you. This condition doesn't happen every day. This condition is under certain conditions that may present itself. However, this is how the individual would like to participate within the community. These are the supports that I will need. I will need a one-on-one assistant. I will need someone who's always aware in the building when this person is visiting the mosque. Let's not let this individual attend because something could happen. Our community leaders and scholars are open. They're open to the education, and they oftentimes acknowledge that they're not educated. So don't hesitate to ask. If it's something that's going to help your family or this loved one, I can tell you, you're paving the road for families down the road. It's going to help them by discussing it. And lastly, as a message from the scholars, and I want to just relay that from all of us, that we know and we've been told there is such a reward in caring for such an individual. Nothing in this dunya can equal the reward that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has waiting for these families, for our families, for all of you listening. And may we all be granted with sabr and ease. Ameen. That is the end of my segment of this program, but I'd like to pass it off to my team members who are going to take on some other interesting questions. And if you want anything else, you can always contact us at info@muhsen.org. And I appreciate you all listening. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.